Welcome to the New Change in the Map, a series dedicated to following events that permanently changed the world's map. We've actually had a lot of updates on multiple ongoing events in this series, so here is a general checkup video. All the way back in 2019, this series began covering a border dispute between the two Central American nations of Belize and Guatemala that was being arbitrated by the International Court of Justice. There were several delays, especially because of COVID, but in mid-2025 there seemed to be expectations for the case to finally continue by the end of the year. But at least according to the ICJ website, that didn't end up happening. What did happen though, was in late 2025 the ICJ agreed to take up a dispute case between Belize and Honduras over the Sapodilla Cays, an atoll in the Gulf of Honduras between them. Then in March of 2026, the ICJ decided to let Guatemala in on the dispute as a non-party. My assumption is that since Guatemala is also claiming the parts of Belize that neighbor this atoll, the ICJ figures that they could link the cases since there's an overlap, but we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, the ongoing process of ceding the Chagos Islands to Mauritius is still, ongoing. In theory, it's at least on the final steps of being passed by the British Parliament. No date is set, but progress is progress. Yet in February of 2026, several Chagosians representing the Chagosian government in exile landed on an island to settle there, and a judge decided they didn't need to be deported. This does add a bit of chaos, as this group doesn't want Mauritius to annex the islands. Rather, they just want an independent Chagos Islands, period. Theoretically, the bill could still pass and then it would be up to Mauritius to decide on what to do, but who knows how much longer that'll take. In Bougainville, the target date for independence from Papua New Guinea is supposed to be in late 2027. Apparently, they are almost done drafting their official constitution as of March, so things seem to be moving smoothly for the moment. Meanwhile, for another Pacific community, the 2025 agreement to try and evolve New Caledonia into a unique status of being a state of New Caledonia, but still a part of the French political umbrella, ended up being rejected by the French Parliament just a couple of days ago. This was mostly due to several New Caledonian pro-independence groups now souring to the agreement, as well as disagreements over whether adding a new complication to the French state system, whatever you want to call it, would even be worth it. So it looks like that issue is back to the drawing board. Meanwhile, for the ongoing planned new Egyptian capital, a draft law was proposed in February of 2026 to possibly give the new capital a new and more proper name, Memphis, notable for being the name of one of ancient Egypt's capitals. Apparently, opinions are mixed, as many modern Egyptians want to be distinct from their ancient civilization, so it's not a guaranteed final name. Frankly, I think Memphis would be awesome, but it's obviously not up to me. Over in Europe, there's been a lot of talk recently in the news about the unrecognized nation of Transnistria supposedly being close to collapse, which would mean possible reintegration with Moldova. Then there's also been a rise in talks about Moldova possibly reuniting with Romania. However, nothing definitive on either front is happening yet, so while I will certainly keep an eye on the region, I'm not really expecting anything anytime soon. Then for the final item in this surprisingly long list of items, I had some people message me claiming that in the ongoing war between Pakistan and Afghanistan, that Pakistan supposedly annexed this tiny area of Afghanistan named Gondwana. While there is evidence of Pakistan militarily occupying the region, I couldn't find anything confirming outright annexation, but I guess it's another thing to pay attention to. And that'll conclude this episode of New Change in the Map. I'm Emperor Tiger Star, and I'll see you guys next time.